for the last 10 years, so she's donated and volunteered her services and all these flowers to come and demonstrate for you her wonderful Malaysian flower demonstration. And she's doing it, of course, for the donkeys, and she has her own donkey in there, Beethoven, which she adores, and they've had their reunion, so everything's all right. But may I introduce you to Miss Elizabeth Bishop.
Welcome and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my absolute pleasure for you all to be here, and I hope I've got something for everyone, including children as well. I'm going to do a range of contemporary as well as traditional designs, and I hope you like them. There's going to be a little bit of tropical as well as the English. They love their pastels, don't they? So I've got a mixture. Now, I was given this horseshoe by a flower club because I am a NAFAS area demonstrator, and it was a challenge because I was coming to the donkey sanctuary. Somebody rushed and said, "This is for you to display at the donkey sanctuary." So yesterday when I came here, I had whatever foliage I had. I decided to make a horseshoe ring. So this one is tropical here. It's got pandanus leaves, which grows very well in Cornwall, I believe, and at the Eden Project, I think I could have begged them to let me have a few leaves instead of buying this. And I've got some lovely pittosporum here, and we've got the anthurium, some cymbidium orchids, and some purple lisianthus, finished off with a twist of china grass and a little bit of contorted willow. So this is for the donkeys and the horses. So I'm going to leave it here so that it doesn't obstruct your vision. Now the next one I'm going to do is a lovely contemporary design. And somebody thought that this was frog spawn, and it isn't. I promise you, it's just water gel, water retaining gel. I can take my glasses off because then I can see what I'm doing as well. So it's been soaked in water, as you can see, and this will help. Now for this particular design, it's quite a modern, contemporary design here, and I've got some choice flowers. We are going to start off with some foliage, and I've got the asparagus mayeri here, and this is something that I've grown in my own house, in my little office. I sit away in my little office in Sheffield, and I keep going on Facebook and watching what the donkeys get up to here and all over, because I do support the Brook as well. It actually started off by the Brook Hospital for Animals in Egypt many years ago, when I used to be a young flight stewardess. I'm an old bird now. My shelf life is over. So I've got 2 sprigs of asparagus mayeri, or also known as the foxtail fern. It's got that graceful long swirl, just like my golden retriever. He's got a lovely tail like that. So we put a swirl here just to cover up the stem. So for those of you who can't see, can you see that now? That looks lovely. And then I've got this Kerala. Now this is the most expensive flower here, despite seeing all the other exotics. So I'm just manipulating it. And it's a shame because it's got these markings which I don't want. They don't look particularly attractive, although some people might like it, but I just want to keep it all green. So you can see Kerala is very pliable, and of course it can also stay without water for a long time, but then this water retaining gel will help it. This will look nice in any blue chip company, won't it? But they perhaps got the money to afford these sort of arrangements. But the flower clubs are usually very generous, and I am also a flower club demonstrator. I belong to the North Midlands and the Northeast area, and I believe I've got a few flower club ladies here, some chairman from Falmouth Flower Club and another chairman from Mile Flower Club. So ladies, if any of you, if I can interest you in taking up flower arranging as a little side hobby, or just because you love plants and flowers, because sometimes these little things slowly change your career. I never went into flower arranging because I wanted to be a demonstrator or a florist. I just went into it accidentally, simply because I used to be a watercolor artist many years ago, and then I worked in a bank as well, and I won't say which bank it is, but it's the bank with the equine symbol. Strange, isn't it? So I used to do Scottish Widows products as well, and they used to call me the Black Widow. Aptly named. I didn't mind. But I like the black horse as well. So I've manipulated these colours in a swirl, as you can see. They're absolutely gorgeous, these. It's called Keller Florex Gold, this one. Whoever is the lucky person now, today, because it's a special demonstration, and because I love these donkeys very dearly, I decided that whatever I do, apart from this container, which is mine for my flower demonstrations, but the rest, you will actually win it in the raffle. So don't forget, get your raffle tickets, because there's some fabulous containers here. So I've put a series, you can see a series of color there. So the next one now, to finish it off, I'm just going to regroup this at an angle. And I spent this morning just standing here and massaging these so that they can get to bend. But they do bend naturally, as you can see. They're very easily manipulated, but you've got to be careful that you don't break them. So once they're done, you put them in a series of lines. Got a little bit of pin, which I'm going to pin them together. Oh, the concentration. Pinning. So I could do with a glass of water. I'm just pinning them so that they hold them together and they don't separate. So just held back. Just lay them there. It's got the water source as well as, the design is complete. So that is my first design, and I hope you like that. It will look nice. Shall I leave it here?
Yeah.
That's the first one. Now for the second one, I thought, because when I first heard that I was going to do this demonstration here, I thought I was going to be in the barn. So I decided to do something rustic. And then it emerged that I was going to be here in this tea room. So there's always a change of plan. I think I must have changed my plans quite a lot this weekend. So we're going to start off with some flowers. I've got some gorgeous lilies here, which we're going to use in the design. And I tried my best to open them. Believe me, I brought these flowers from the Sheffield wholesale market, and we have got a very good supplier who always gets me what I want. Obviously, it's come from Holland, and I told him I've got a special show to do, so he managed to get me everything I wanted, including some lovely vandas as well. Foliage. Usually for the flower clubs I've got my boxes, but do you know my car, when I came down on the M5 and the M6, my car was packed up with the ruckus. I shouldn't be reversing, and I was a bit worried in case the police stopped me and said, "Mrs. Bishop, Can you see where you're going? I could see in front, I could see everything that was going. And especially with me being a retired magistrate, I should have known better. I should have known better. But what I did, I made sure the flowers were all on one side, and there's a gap. I could see through this gap. And me and John Sterling, who was the chairman of Freshfields Donkey Village, we both set off at 2 o'clock in 2 separate cars, packed with all sorts of things in it. So here we are. We're going to start off. I've got some nice white Lysianthus here. And I'm going to do another contemporary design. I mean, you can see one I made earlier, like Blue Peter style. So you know what you're going to get, really. So it's more of a European style floristry. And I'm just going to follow the 3-5-8 principle. And for those of you who've not got nothing to do with floristry, you'll be thinking, what a load of gobbledygook. It's a load of rubbish. But believe me, I used to think like that. I used to think flower arranging is just sticking a few things in. It is, I mean, it is a nice, lovely hobby. If you love doing flowers, or if you do church flowers, this is how it started for me. I went to church. Don't go very often these days, but when I get the chance, I do go. And I started off doing church flower arranging, and then it progressed. And then one day I was working in the bank, and I decided the bank was going to fund me for some floristry lessons, and I thought, they've never given me anything free of charge, so I'll make use of it. And that's how I studied floristry. I went to night school. So while everybody was drinking on a Friday night, I was busy studying, and I managed to get through all my City and Guilds qualifications, and it helped. So they paid for it, and I said, thank you, bank. Wish the shares would go up a little bit. It would make a big difference, wouldn't it? And I have to work now. I have to work till my pension starts kicking in, because I'm still too young to collect my pension. The Chancellor keeps putting it up and up all the time, increasing the age. So a few more years to work as a flower arranger or a florist. So let me not bore you with technical stuff. I'll tell you about our donkeys. Are most of the people in this room all animal lovers? Most of you. Do you come here regularly? So you know about the donkeys from Derbyshire being relocated over here. Now, there's one special donkey there, and he's called Beethoven, and I always have had a very soft spot for him, simply because I go to St. Francis of Assisi Church in Sheffield, and Beethoven has been to Assisi, so he went on a pilgrimage to Assisi to represent all the animals that have been treated cruelly, because he did this epic 3,000-mile journey. And I simply took an instant liking to him. I mean, of course I like all the others, but because of this little story. So I've always sort of made a beeline for him, and of course he's deaf, and that's why he's called Beethoven. So one day I decided I was going to raise some money for this sanctuary and invited Beethoven to my church. So it was just like this, wooden floor, and he comes in, and I played the music, a fifth of Beethoven, because I like music. I think it loosens everybody up, you know, and we had children as well, so they get restless when they're having to sit and watch a flower arranging, you know, demo. So I played music and they were happy. And then when Beethoven came, everybody was excited. So of course, what did Beethoven do? The first thing he did was, you know what he did? He dropped a dollop, a big dollop as well, down there. And I got my priest almost wanting to kill me, because he said, no, we're not having that donkeys in here. It will stink to high heaven. And I said, no, don't worry. I said, I'll make sure that the donkeys won't do anything, you know, anything nasty. But my word, the smell was enough to, I've got some skim here that I'm going to use at the bottom, just to cover it up. Now this is a bit of conifer that was given to me, so I don't know the name, but looks a bit like the chemisiparis, but I can't really swear to it saying that that is exactly what it is. Now for you, anyone here who's a botanical expert can come and have a look at it and then perhaps tell me, because most of the time we get foliage given and sometimes we don't know what they are. But nevertheless, we like to use them because it's free. So when it's free, it's even better. You don't have to pay for it. Because when you buy things from the wholesalers, it is quite expensive, especially tropical. Now, this is Viburnum tinnis, this from my garden. It came from Chatsworth. You all know about Chatsworth, the Duke in Devonshire. I belong to Baslow Flower Club, which is near Chatsworth. And my flower club ladies are very posh. They really think. I think lots of people in Baslow think that they are related to the Duke and Duchess of Devonshire. That's the way they behave. And we all take afternoon tea, which is wonderful. I love the flower club ladies. They're so good at baking, a bit like the WI. They're tremendous bakers, and they always have everything. Tea leaves, no tea bags, tea leaves, teapots, tea cozies, and everything served on china. Isn't it pleasure? It's like going to, have you heard of Betty's? Yes, it's like going to Betty's. Every tea affair is like going to Betty's, so I just enjoy it. I enjoy just going for the cakes at least. So the next one I'm going to use is some oriental lilies. This is Lily Sapporo. It's a Japanese name, but very strong. So we always use Santander or Sapporo because these are the strongest lilies. And they're strong because they've got such sturdy stems. Because if you buy the cheap ones sometimes, the cheap ones, they are okay, but sometimes they're so weak, and because it's got a big, large head, it can't support the stem and it just keeps breaking. Now it's got a bit of pollen, and I'm going to take the pollen off because they say it affects your cats, and I don't want any cat to be poisoned because of me. But it also lasts a bit longer as well. So I'm just stripping off all the leaves. Just using them in the design. We have pollen here. So I tried my best to open it for you all, and sadly it didn't open. It was because it was so fresh and in tight bud. I had to put it near my central heating radiator, and I tried to open it. Now this is only a joke. I'm saying I have, being a demonstrator, I have got flowers all over the place, especially in my house. My 4th bedroom is like my office. My 3rd bedroom has got flowers in buckets standing next to the radiator. I've got a little bit of wheat as well, which I want to incorporate in the design. And this will give it an ethereal feeling. And in that lovely rustic basket as well. So you get to keep that basket as well with you, because it's no point saying, oh no, you can't have it, and pulling it all out. It would be pointless, wouldn't it? It's very generous. Yes, I thought make it good. Can't do this for the flower club all the time, I promise you, because it's a one-off special. So I've gone around thinking, what can I donate for the sanctuary, and that's how it's come today. You know, I think people in Cornwall today over here are very lucky, because the ones in Sheffield will say, you don't give us such expensive vases in your demonstrations. Yes, I've been very, very fortunate that I've had the chance to be with the donkeys, because I never actually carried on in life thinking, oh, one day I'm going to become a trustee of a donkey sanctuary. I never went like that, thinking that way. It just happened accidentally. I was, as I said, I used to be a flight stewardess at Saudi Arabian Airlines, and I used to travel all over the Middle East. And it was in Egypt that I saw the poor donkeys, and also in Pakistan, in Karachi, because I used to do flights from Saudi Arabia to the Middle East and all over Pakistan, India, all those regions. And it was watching how the animals were being treated that sort of triggered it off. And I thought, oh, how sad, because although I'm from Malaysia, I never knew there were donkeys. I had never seen donkeys in Malaysia, believe it. They're buffaloes. They've got orangutans and tigers, and of course they all are disappearing as well. So sadly, we've got to increase the awareness. But donkeys, no, I didn't. And it was one day watching the BBC program about the Brook Hospital for Animals, and seeing all these poor donkeys carrying heavy goods, and having big, oversized people sitting on them. I think that was even worse for me to stomach. So I decided I must do something, so I started supporting them. I still do today, until today I support the Brook Hospital. So we've got that now, just to give it that ethereal look. And then there's one more I'm going to introduce, and this is this gorgeous grasses, and this is called panicum. It's the fountain grass. Was it? Sorry, I thought it was my phone. It's got the same ringtone. I thought, nobody usually calls me around this time. So just a little bit of fountain grass here to incorporate into the design as well. And then just thread the leaves through. Looks like a little mini corn, doesn't it? The leaf reminds you of corn, but it isn't. These are gorgeous, and I'm sure this grows very well here in Cornwall, because up in Sheffield we struggle. We've had that much snowfall this year, and it's been really cold. Just 2 days ago, before coming here, we've had hailstones and snow. So you can imagine how my tropicals, I've had to take them all into my bedroom. And I'm very lucky because, and I shouldn't be saying this, I'm not saying it with any sort of nastiness. Now that I've got rid of my second husband, I'm sorry, I don't encourage it, but he was a naughty boy, so I had to get rid of him. So, now that he's gone, the bathroom, the bedroom, everything, the whole house is just like a flower cellar. So I think at least he's done something right. Because he used to say, oh, those nasty flowers again. Then he used to go off gambling. So I thought, oh, that nasty man, I'll get rid of him. So now I've got 2 rescue dogs. Oh, and they are faithful. So faithful. They don't gamble. They don't ogle at women. They do beg, but they don't ogle. And I only say it very, tongue-in-cheek. I'm not sort of condoning anything. But I think I was made to have a single life. So this is the gorgeous Vanda. Now, it is absolutely a stunning orchid. It grows really wild in Malaysia, but then in Holland, they've got a place, a company called Anco, A-N-C-O, Anco Pure Vanda, and they produce the most gorgeous orchids, and it's from them, this. This is not from Malaysia, this is from Holland. Now, if I wanted a 3rd husband, I would love the guy who owns Anco. I keep thinking, I wish I could marry that guy. At least I'll be having all these Vandas for free. So that is my second design, ladies, and I hope you like that. Then we've got another corresponding one that I read earlier. So you get both those baskets as well. Now for the 3rd design. Now this 3rd design a little bit funky, so you get the vase as well. And what I've done is, wool is in fashion at the moment. So it's just 2 little cardboard rings that's been threaded. I use some ribbon to make it fast. So I've wound some ribbon and then I've wound some wool. And it's in a little glass, not glass, sorry, it's in one of these files, plastic files. And I've just put wool around it. And I've just put some little stick-on gem crystal just to make it look funky. And there's a little bit of water in there. I don't want to put too much. And the next thing is, for this, I've used some Oasis wire, gold wire, and just to show you, just to give it a little bit of, make it jazzy, just a little bit jazzy. So all I've done, and it twists and it's very pliable, and it's quite good in water as well. It will last for a while. So just to give it a little bit of a twist here, and just cuts easily as well. So if you ever want to buy this and use it for any decorative purpose, you can. So that's all I've done. Just squeeze it up, whatever style you want. You can do it like sometimes I do it like a musical, one of those musical notes. If I've got time, I'll do that. But if I want to be quick, then I'll do something as simplified as this. Sorry. If you've got any questions, please fire away and ask me.
Donkey?
A donkey? Oh, it's hard though. I need a bit more time for that. So this is just to make you look through the design, because it's only going to have one focal flower which will look spectacular. So it's just to make it pretty, so you can see that. And then what I've done here, see my little bit of my dog hairs there. Sorry, I apologize. When you have golden retrievers and Labradors, they get all over. Yeah. So I've just used some Florist Fix so that I can just make sure that that remains there and doesn't sort of wobble. So it's there now. So the next flower that I want to use is the Strelitzia, the bird of paradise, Strelitzia regina, you see? Paid for that long stem, and I'm going to just keep cutting it. So that goes, because you can see the complementary colors that matches the bird of paradise. And then to make it a little bit funky, last night I had, do you all know Yogi? Do you know Yogi, the little chocolate Labrador puppy?
Yes.
He was very naughty. He came in here and he started pulling all my feathers to bits. So I forgave him anyway. So just to, make it a little bit more modern and contemporary, I've just threaded some beads and some purple matching feathers, a little bit of whatever I had, because I thought I'd brought my pearls, but I had not. I'd forgotten it. So just thread it through. And this will look nice, like if somebody has got a wedding table arrangement. You can put different flowers. I just chose the Strelitzia because I wanted it to match the colors. But you can make it in pastel colors for a wedding, and you can put it in a tall vase, and you can drape it with these, material, plant material or petals, anything, whatever you think is suitable. So, but this is a European style design because the Europeans love their ribbons, which I'm going to use in a second. So we have got this is from European style ribbon that's been threaded. I mean, somebody has got the patience to sit and do this. Not me, unfortunately, I'm sorry. I've got so much. I've got 2 dogs to walk, and these 2 dogs are not disciplined. They are rescue dogs, and they've come from the Irish Golden Retriever Rescue. I've got some glue dots, the cold glue. The ones where your credit cards are being sent, and they stick your credit card on. So I've got that. What did you say?
No, sorry, we were talking about the dog round and the people at the window.
Oh, I see. I thought you said.
Until everyone looks in.
I thought you wanted a credit card. When I used to work in the bank, I used to promote and say to people, if you want a credit card, come and see me later. Because I had to get several for my course. I had this got a bit too much there, so I'll just cut this part off and mount it here. So far, is it okay? Are you finding it interesting enough?
Yes.
Because I don't know, how much I should tell and how much I should reveal.
Not as much as you.
Because you might never want to see me again. That's the danger. So I want to be really careful and not overstep my mark. Right, so one more and then it will be ready, and I'll just put some little gerbils as well. So you can see how the European influence is here, because I never used to go into floral craft. But do you know, it's the rant and rave now. Everybody is into floral art, floral craft. And if you don't do something crafty, you're not in with the times. So I've got to raise up my game as a demonstrator. So let's see how far I could. These glue dots are really handy. They're very good at sticking onto glass as well. If I don't get it on my finger, it'll be all right. And I've got a few mini gerberas on the knife that matches the colour. So I'll see how many it would allow me in this test tube. Gorgeous colour, isn't it? I think it will only take two and it's tightened up. So the last flower that I'm going to use now is this is also another Vanda, but this one is Vanda Tayani Cerise. And for that, I'm going to glue it. So you've got different techniques here, but gluing, threading. And if you use your floral adhesive, if you seal the stem, that will keep the moisture in. So I'm just going to glue that there just to keep close to the stem. And then another one. Because at a flower club, we get a small flower allowance, and we've got to come up with all these things, how to maximize the amount of money that you get, and what can you do to wow the crowd, the designs that you use. And so we come up with all sorts like this. So you can see a very modern and contemporary design, but with just one choice flower, this Strelitzia, and you get to keep that. Not sure if it's somebody's raffle ticket here. There's some raffle ticket there, I don't know whose it is. Or is it an obsolete one?
This. I have to break in the middle that we could sell some, because that's really the idea.
Yes, so I've done 3 now, so
Yes.
do you want to have a little
Would
break?
everyone like to partake of a raffle ticket?
Yes,
please?
please.
That's what you've been wanting, isn't it? So that it's obviously win the choice of one of these lovely designs, please.
Don't mind, it's not like, anyone from the WI here? Or is the WI? You must switch off your phones, put all your handbag under the chair. They've got very strict rules, and rules must not be broken. Not with the WI ladies.
Someone here is laughing, it's it?
Yes. Now I must tell you, these 2 donkeys that are here, the 3 of them are part of A threesome. What do you call a threesome?
Triplets?
A trio. I was going to say trio, and I thought, is it?
Trio.
My mind went blank there. Yeah, they were a gift from the company that makes display animals,
Oh.
like the big giraffes and elephants. So they were given as a gift to the Michael Elliott Trust years ago. And when I became a trustee, I used to go around all the flower clubs, because I used to have a demonstration called, the theme was called Magic of the East. Yeah, Magic of the East, and I used to take the donkey with me. I used to borrow him with a poorly foot. And the poorly foot is because the barn had many rats.
Please, I've got a photograph. They were here before this was built, but it's loose in here.
So they had many rats there, and of course, I think they gnawed his foot. Poor little thing. So we put a bandage on it, and said, he's got a poorly sore foot. Like Bergerac. Have you seen Bergerac at the entrance? The white donkey, the elderly white donkey. Now he's got a poorly foot, he's got arthritis. And he always, when he was in Freshfield, he used to always lift his little foot and say, I'm poorly. You know, so it reminded me of him. So now, since there's nobody, I'll just talk to you. I'm doing a pedestal arrangement. So I've started off with some fascia. Sorry, is it rocky? You all right?
Yes.
So I've got some palm leaves, and this is the Robellini palm, and some fascias, and I've just put some viburnum tinnis just to cover some of the floral foam. I've also got some gorgeous French ruscas here, soft ruscas. Now I bought some foliage simply because I was worried that I'm not going to have enough greenery. So I went to town and just bought quite a lot of foliage, tropical ones as well. But you never can have too much foliage, because you never know when you're going to need them. And I love these, especially for church pedestals, they're gorgeous. Now what I've done is as well, I got aspidistra leaves and I've manipulated them, just changed the whole style of the leaf, and all I've done is cut pieces and then put some pins, and I'm going to use them. And I've got this one, I'll show you later how I did it. But to start off, this is Heliconia, tropical, comes from the Caribbean originally, but it grows well in all tropical countries. It's part of the banana family, and I'm going to show you, this is what I've taken off part of the stem, and I've threaded wool around it just to, you know, make it look different. We've got two here. So to give you a line design now, because it's a tropical area, and I've got to make sure that I don't hit this. See, when you're in a flower club, you're on a stage, and you can gauge what you're doing. But here, I've got to gauge this, and I've got to make sure I don't hit the light. Normally, I wouldn't have a fluorescent lighting looking at me like that. So, there, and the second one again. Now, part of the banana family, and in the Far East, I know you can't see me. You know this banana, when you strip it off, you get these sort of little strands. Now, these are the strands that people in the Far East make flower garlands. It won't look like this. It will look more like one of this sort of strand. It will be in that sort of thickness. Now these are the strands that they use to make flower garlands. They thread the flowers through and make the garlands that way. So these are the ones from the banana stem that they use. Now I've started taking some Nafas ladies to the Far East on holiday with me. So I've had a very successful time with 13 of us. I took them to Kuala Lumpur, Cameron Highlands, the tea plantations, and also to Penang. Penang, which is also known as the Pearl of the Orient. Now, you know, Malaya, as it was then called, used to be a British colony years ago. Oh, it's lovely. That's going to be the focal difference then, yes.
Does it last a long time?
It will, but to be honest, this weather has not been very kind. It's been so cold. And tropical flowers, sadly, they suffer from the cold, especially draft. I mean, I was very worried. I came here early today because left in a cold place, you know, they turn blue-black. It affects them, and draft does as well. So, got two strelitzias here. I just want to show you how the outline is. As you can see, it comes along now. When you're doing a pedestal as well, you've got to be careful that you get the line correct so that it doesn't get, you've got to make sure that it's balanced and it doesn't topple off and come falling forward. It's a little bit difficult for me to gauge today because I am working from a different angle. So you can see that now, I'm just bringing down that line gradually. It's coming down. And at this moment I want to just introduce a little bit of foliage at the back because you want to make sure that there is proper balance and it's not all in the front. So you've got to make sure that you secure at the back as well. So I've got two heliconias which I'm going to use, and of course, you know, they come in different sizes. When you want them small, they come big. When you want them big, they come small. So nature dictates everything, and the flower wholesalers do as well, because you never know what you're going to get. Yes, John? Have you put Her Royal Highness to ease?
She's outside, she's having a fag.
Oh. Just to show you. Yeah, and then the next one I'm going to introduce are the red gerberas. Oh, they're gorgeous, aren't they? These. This one is called Karambole. But you see, they're saying they want to come in here.
Yeah,
Yes, he wants to come in. He says he hasn't seen Lizzie dripping for a long time. That's what they call me. You know, when I used to work in the bank, they used to call me Lizzie dripping. How horrible. I didn't know what Lizzie dripping was when I first came here. And they just said, oh, it's just a name. We decided to call you.
It's a character in the children's book.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
See, I didn't take much
Was it
studies
published?
here. I mean, I do know Postman Pat and his black and white cat, things like that I do know, I'm aware of.
I'm sure her granddaughter's got a book, Lizzie Dripping.
Lizzie dripping. Now, you see, when I did the Magic of the East, I didn't only take this donkey, I took a tiger with me as well.
Oh.
Yeah. Because of the World Wildlife Fund that I was supporting. So I take the tiger because it saved the Malaysian tiger.
No wonder your car was full.
My car is usually usually full anyway for every demonstration that I do. My car, that's why I've got the Land Rover now, and I make sure that I can, you know, if it snows, I've got 4 wheels instead of 2, just to show you how it's coming along.
Oh, that's really lovely.
So I'm just creating rhythm here. I'm putting the stems in first because I want to see how many I can get in, and then I'll put the foliage to cover the foam. Simply because I want to make sure that I get my placings correctly. Because if you put too much foliage, then it's difficult to find the spot to put your other flowers in. Now, the next one I want to introduce is the red anthurium, or the flamingo flower.
This is the can get Julie to take a picture
Yeah,
of that. You know.
lovely red anthurium here. Some people, you either like it or you hate this flower, don't you? Gorgeous anthurium. I can never tire of these. And when we went to Kuala Lumpur and to the Cameron Highlands, which was where the tea plantations were, these were growing in abundance, and the cymbidium, because it's high above sea level, about 500 to 600 feet above sea level.
What
And
do
of
tea
course-
trees look like?
Tea trees, a camellia.
No, I mean that where the tea grows. Is it?
Yes.
Oh,
The old plantations, all terraced plantations. And they pick the fine leaves, the tea pickers.
wow.
So it was so successful, this trip. They've asked me to do another one. So the Gluttons for Punishment, mind you, they did enjoy. I made sure that they had a good time. So they want me to do another trip. So I've decided to be a sucker and do it again. So I'm taking them to Singapore instead.
Oh, lovely.
So I'm taking them to Singapore, Kuala Lumpur and Penang, and we're staying at this beautiful hotel called Rasasaya. It's got 14 acres of tropical gardens. Oh, and the food to die for. Afternoon tea. We had afternoon tea and happy hour on the house. We were put into big private suites. I couldn't believe my luck, but I did say, this next trip, I can't guarantee all that. That was just a stroke of luck. We were so fortunate. I'm sorry, I'm talking, and I just want to make sure that I've got placings right. Yeah, so very, very fortunate indeed. Finish off, I've got a few red carnations. Gorgeous. Now these will last, carnations will last. So, if you ever have me for an open meeting, will you be generous with the flower allowance? I think I'll have to send an SOS to the Eden project. I try to make friends with all of these places, you know, because you never know when you need them. And I always will say, I'll do something for you. So last night I was staying in this hotel, and I saw their arrangement at the front desk, and it looked really pathetic. So I said to them, I said, would you like me to do you an arrangement? And she said, yes, please. So I made them a lovely corporate arrangement, and they were really happy. So I told them, if you're on Facebook, will you go onto my page and give me a like? Because that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. I've got a page on Facebook, and I keep saying to everyone, if you go there, just have a browse around, see my pictures, and then give me a like on the page, because when you give me the extra likes, it means I get the credibility of being a good florist. And I try, I mean, I always keep my word, and I make sure that you know, what they pay is what, and even do even more actually. When I say what they pay is what they get, not really. Sometimes they get more than whatever they paid for. Try to do that extra mile for them. Just to show you, just creating rhythm there with the carnations. So really it's a splash of red, isn't it? And red is such a dominant color, but red is also the color of prosperity in the Far East. So I tend to use it quite a lot, and I think that's what people sometimes pay me as a demonstrator, because they want something different. So they hire me for certain functions. Now this is what I grow in my garden as well. I've got the Chemisiparis Sun Gold, and what I did was, in my garden I used to have about 75 roses, but when my first husband passed away, I decided I could not keep looking after all these roses, spraying them and looking after them. So I decided to change, and I started an Adrian Bloom front garden. So are you familiar with Adrian Bloom? He comes from Norfolk, and he has got all alpines and rockery plants. And his father used to own Bressingham Gardens. So anyway, I decided I'm going to create an Adrian Bloom front garden, which I did. And now, about 25 years later, this is what keeps growing. I have to keep pruning them. They started like little miniatures, and now they are huge trees. And this hotel that I'm staying in Cornwall, you know, the Morden? Oh, you pronounce it different. Is it Mewden?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That
Sorry.
takes you right down to the beach.
Yes, yeah. It's the one where the hotel inspector was.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Suggestions.
Are you in the room that they redecorated?
yes.
You are.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, and I got the nice view of the garden, and some of the trees are amazing. Yesterday I went, this morning I went after breakfast to take some photographs, and I thought, well, I kept thinking, oh, the Jurassic Coast is here. Expecting to see a dinosaur walking out of it. It gives you that sense, you know, that mystery, and also you feel a bit scared, and oh. But I haven't walked down to the beach yet because I was taking photographs. But some of these trees, you know, they remind me of the huge tropical trees that grow, you know, in the Amazon. One of it, the tree trunk, I don't know how old that tree is, but it was very intriguing and interesting to read the family history of the Mewden, is it? Mewden Hotel. I didn't know that Barclays Bank family owned that place prior to it being sold off. It has changed many hands, and many famous people have owned it. But how interesting to know. And of course the gardens are to die for. If anything, it reminded me of the 14 acres of tropical garden in Malaysia, and that's what I was saying about the Mewden. It was fabulous. So my tropical arrangement, so I'm going to put that over here.
Super.
Move it. That's nice to win, isn't it?
It's lovely.
And it's got lots of flowers. Sorry. But lots of flowers, sorry. Oh gosh, be careful. Bit wobbly. I think I'll put it over there. Yeah. Sorry. So let's just watch this. Where I'm going. Yeah, I think I better put it over here. That's better. That's a bit more stable. I say so, stable. Stay. That's number 29. But she's put the name there. Lorraine Rod.
It's impossible though, isn't it?
Could happen, couldn't it? 01872 321. They say usually we redo it because
That's what it takes him to come.
We've all got one.
I didn't know